Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome to the UKRunChat Podcast, the place where we explore the stories behind the miles and meet the people who make the running community what it is. Now, when you hear the words El Camino, you probably think of the historic pilgrimage route across northern Spain, where thousands of people walk towards Santiago in search of reflection or personal meaning. But today's guest isn't following the traditional Camino. Instead, Aaron Sharples is creating his own modern pilgrimage in a way, El Camino Español, which is a 1,600 kilometre run along the entire east coast of Spain, from the French border all the way down to the Gateway of Gibraltar. Now, in October 2026, he plans to cover that distance in just 28 days, potentially setting a fastest known time and possibly completing a world first. So we're really excited to have Aaron with us today. Welcome to the UKRunChat Podcast. Thanks so much for coming on. So first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into running, first of all?
Yeah, of course. I'll take you back to 2020. As we all know, that was COVID times and everyone kind of took up running at that stage, but I was a bit later in joining on the running kind of scene. I've always been physically fit and gone to the gym, but I've never ever crossed my mind about running or doing anything like that. But at the time I was working on a business. I was working 7 days a week, 90 hours a week, and running or anything else was kind of at the back of my mind. And then the business shut down because of COVID. And then I ended up getting a job doing 4 days on, 4 days off. So on my 4 days off, I was a bit lost at first. I was a bit like, what am I going to do with this time off? I get 4 days off a week now. So I started hiking, like walking in the Lake District, because that's all we're allowed to do, which then made it more like I could see more people out running and in the fells doing all that kind of fell running scene, which is amazing. And I was like, oh, I bet that would be quite fun actually. But then again, I put it to the back of my mind for a little while and just continued to hike, which I loved because it was outside. And then further down the line, one day I woke up, I was like, oh, I might try this running thing. That was what I ended up saying to myself. I was like, I'll try this running thing today. I didn't have a pair of trainers, didn't have any shorts. I was like, I'll just put on what I can. And I just went for a walk, ended up running. I think I ended up running like half marathon. It wasn't fast and it wasn't pretty, but it was a run. And at the time, the family was going through a traumatic kind of time, and we weren't getting on, and it was just there was lots of moving parts in the family which were kind of traumatic at the time, and COVID on top of that. So it was like I was not in a very good place mentally or physically to be thinking about anything else. But I went on this run and I just automatically felt like, oh, weight's being lifted off my shoulders, because for that hour or 2 hours, I didn't really think about anything else because I didn't have any music in. It was just like, because COVID, there was no one around. It was just kind of running and just like being kind of free. I know that's quite cliche to say, and a lot of people say that because that's just the way it felt at the time. So then I continued running. I just probably ran twice a week, still hiking on my 4 days off. And then moving forward from there, it kind of snowballed into more running. And then post COVID, it was like 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and that kind of what led me to do my challenges and getting to this point that I'm at now.
Yeah, wow. So you started doing daily 10-kilometre runs, didn't you?
Yeah, so
that just kind of evolved naturally then, did it, into going further?
Yeah, it went further because at the time, like I said, it was a traumatic time, and sadly, a member of the family had a brain tumour and sadly passed away. And at the time, I was not in a mental state to give any sympathy or any words of wisdom. I always struggled with saying the right things anyway. So then I was like, how can I give something back to show that I care and show that like I'm here to support everyone and support the family and support my friends and things like that. So I was like, as soon as I've just started running, I'm going to do 10K every day for 30 days of January. And then I'm going to do a half marathon at the end. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how it was going to turn out. But I laced up on the 1st of January, I think, 2021. And then I just ran the same route every day for 30 days. Again, I had no idea what I was doing. In terms of nutrition, I was just going about, just getting through the 10Ks every day. And then by the end of it, I think my first 10K that I ran, I wasn't even running for time. I think it was 55 minutes, my first 10K on January the 1st. And then at the end, the last 10K, I think I ran a 39-minute 10K. And I was like,
Wow.
is that good? Is that bad? I was like, what? Yeah. And then, so I started looking, and that's when I started delving into like stats and what people are running. I was like, oh, I'm actually okay at this. But as a whole, that experience was just so moving, because it was January. The weather was not the best. It was snowing. I just went for every single run on my own. And then in the meantime, I was raising money for cancer research. So I raised nearly £3,000 in that time. And that was my way of saying, like, I'm here, I support, and I'll do anything I can to help other people and other families that are going through the same kind of trauma and situation. And then I did the half marathon, and then my mum and dad were there at the end. And then it was kind of just a great moment of being like, oh, I did it. This is such a good feeling. So that's what led me on to doing that 10K every day. And since then, it's just kept snowballing since then.
Yeah. And then you've run a few like really good marathons as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I signed up for Manchester Marathon, and I was like, I'll give it a good go. Didn't get a coach again. I was just kind of learning as I went off YouTube and conversations, and I ended up running a 243 in Manchester. And then the year after, I ran a 242 in London. So I was I'm actually quite good at this running thing. I was like, however it started, and now it's to this, and it was just evolved so much, getting involved in the communities and the people that are doing the runs and talking, and that just leads into like meeting people that are doing the same thing. And it was like just a shift in like the people that I would never be associated with or hang around with. It's like it's meeting a whole new group of people, which is so breathtaking really at times.
Yeah, it's funny where running can lead you like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us about El Camino Español, and where did the idea come from, and why Spain?
Why Spain? I spend a lot of time in Spain because mum and dad have got a place there. We go quite a lot. It's more of like every time I go to the place in Spain, it's more like a switch off and calm place for me to go and for us all to go, really. But I was in Estepona in 2024 for a month with my partner, and I was training not for anything. I was just trying to train, just getting fit. And I was actually training for something. I was training for my first 100 miler. So I was in Spain. I was running up and down the coast, and one day I was sat there in the afternoon, and it was just off the back of the festival that we did, the fitness and wellness festival that we did. So we sat there just going through some bits, and then I was planning my routes as you do for like the next day, the next week. And I wonder how far it is from Estepona to Gibraltar. So I figured that out, and I was like, I wonder how far it is from Estepona to Malaga. And I was like, actually, let me just look at this map even bigger. Let me see how far it is from the French border all the way down to Gibraltar. And the map came up, and I was like, that's 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers. I was like, that's quite far, actually. So I said to my missus at the time, I said to Lauren, I was like, I'm going to run that one day. And that was in September 2024. She was like, you're crazy. And but she was like, do you know what? If there's anyone that can do it, you can do it. So it kind of put it to the back of my mind for about 6 months. But I continuously went back to it, and I was mapping out in secret because I wasn't telling anyone. I was sat there in the evening, just like mapping out the route, and is it possible? Is it not possible? And then that's when it came to like the start of last year. It came to light, and I was like, in 2025, I was like, right, I'm going to actually do this. Let's get this pen to paper. Let's start making movements to making this happen.
Yeah. So why now? Why do you feel ready to do it now? You're obviously very comfortable at endurance events anyway.
Yes.
But why now?
I kind of always, in the middle of my running period, I was always doing events. I was doing a lot of events, and I kind of got to the point where I wasn't enjoying events. I was like, I do enjoy going to them, but there's a lot of pressure, and like the running, I think the pressure took over the running. So that's how I went to start creating my own events. And now at this point, when I do the run this year, it'll be 5 years since I started running. So I feel like it's a good point for me to be like, that everything's changed in 5 years. Like a massive shift in me, and personally, mentally, physically has changed in the 5 years, because I always used to associate the challenge that I did with trauma or sadness. And I feel like this 5 year point and this challenge that I'm doing in October, it's not about trauma. It's about giving back and seeing how far the 5 year journey has been, and like how much I've moved on and developed, and the people that have come along with me on the journey also have been involved for the whole 5 years are also like getting involved in this and backing me and helping me create this project, which is great.
Yeah, so there's a bit of progression there for you as a person. Then I like that, because I think quite a lot of us do get into running for kind of sadder reasons, really, don't we? Yes. So it's nice that you'll have that kind of celebration of what you've achieved.
Yeah, I want to just change the narrative a bit.
Yeah.
I think I took 8 months out of running, maybe 9 months. I was still running, but I wasn't running for anything. I was just running, and I was just keeping like physically fit, and I just wanted to change what I was running for. It naturally changed anyway over the years, but then I just wanted to mark it with something, and this is the challenge that's going to mark it. Like this is a celebration. This is like something that I'm going to give back to everybody that's helped me along the way and create something special. And again, because it's 5 years, it feels even more special because I'm in such a different headspace now than I was 5 years ago.
Yeah. So why have you settled on the kind of the tight time frame that you have? Because you said you're hoping to do it in 28 days.
Yeah, 20. I want to stick within a month, ideally October, and I think doing on average 80 kilometers a day is more than doable for myself. That's what I believe. There's scope for it to go over, but I think setting myself 28 days would just be a nice round number. 80 kilometers a day. Some days will be less, some days will be more. I've ran distance. I've ran for like 100 miles and around them a few times, so I know I can do the distance. But it's just the training now has just got to be focused on doing it over a day period, and I think 28 days is doable. No one's ever done it before, so this is why I'm kind of I'm like a rabbit in headlights. I'm just trying to like navigate. Like, will it take me 28 days? Will it not? I've got no one to kind of speak to about it, so I'm kind of like, is it 28 days? It could be 30, it could be 26 days, but 28 is the day that I've picked. I don't know why. I just think that'll be a good day to finish.
Yeah. So is that something you'll be kind of, will you be happy to go over that if it does take longer? Like, yeah, what plans have you got in place for that?
Well, ideally, I'd like to finish it on the last day of October, which is the 30th.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 days that I can go over. I just wanted to do it within inside the month. But if I said I had 30 days, then if I go over, it'll be into the next month. So in my head, logically, that's like I've gone over into next month. I just wanted to keep it within the October time frame. But there is scope to go over. There's lots of variables which might change on the ground on the week on the month. But that's the plan A, is 28 days.
Yeah. So looking at kind of the logistics of the challenge, then this must be a huge thing to organise. I mean, where do you start with it?
Well, when I started, it's been going on for 18 months. Like I said, in Estepona, I started mapping it out. But over the time, I've been to Spain between then and now, and I've been on the coast, and I've had the opportunity to run up and down the coast, and I've basically just looked at Google Maps every day for the past 18 months and just changing the route, adjusting the route, and looking at like campsites, rest stops, where there's going to be places for people to stay if they're on the route. And then also because when I'm in Spain on the challenge, I want to be stopping at schools, run clubs, and talking and getting people in Spain running along with me from like the clubs and the schools, and maybe doing talks along the way. So I'm trying to fit it all in, but the aim is to stay as close to the coast as possible, and that's just basically hugging the coastline all the way down. But if I have to go inland, then that's the problem. If there's a place I can't go through, then I need to have a plan B where I have to alter the route a little bit.
Yeah. So, and you're using kind of existing long distance trails, is that right?
Yeah. So in Spain, we've got some hiking trails there. We've got like GR92, which is the first 500 kilometers. I'm going to stick to that because that's a known route. And then from there, you've got like the GR7. And then you've got another one further down, which they're all kind of not together. So I'm just trying to fill in the gaps essentially, and then create one long route. Because I know that they are trying to create a long route in Spain they are trying to do this route like as a walking, hiking, but they're not there yet. It's going to be another couple of years before that. So it's just fitting them little bits together, which are not essentially there at the moment.
Yeah, and what's the terrain like along that coastline?
It's a mixture. The first half is mainly like trails and mountains, and then the middle part is quite flat. Going through like Valencia, Barcelona, it's quite flat, and then you go down to Almeria, where it's going to be again mountainous. That's where the biggest climbs will be, and then on the home straight, which I'm quite lucky, from Malaga to Gibraltar, it's quite flat, and they've got a nice like path down there, which is already there. So the last week, I'm hoping that it'll be majority of it'll be flat for me just to cruise through and finish.
I love your mentality here, because you're like the home straight, and Malaga to Gibraltar that's a long way.
Yeah, it is a long way. I think I'm just trying to comprehend it in my mind. I'm like trying not to make it a massive feat. I'm trying to play it down a bit in my own mind. I think that just gives me a bit more clarity and being like how big the feat is. So yeah, Malaga to Gibraltar is a very long way, but in my head I'm like, this is the final bit.
I mean, relative to everything else you've done, it will feel like it, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So where are you up to in planning at the moment? What, is there anything we can help with as a community? What do you need?
Where I'm up to now, like I said, we are announcing the project to everybody on the 28th of October. So everything's leading up to that now. We've already had conversations with the charity. So I'm raising money for Healthier Heroes, which is a veterans charity in Lancaster, where I'm from. And I'm also, a small part of the fund is going to go to a second charity, which is Alderhay Hospital in Liverpool. And then a small fund is also going to go to Lancaster Maternity Ward. So it's kind of separated between the three. But the main charity that I'm doing it for is Healthier Heroes. So we've got a meeting next week, and I'm going to be speaking on Armed Forces Day, and I'm going to be meeting some of the team which facilitate in the funds for the veterans in the housings that they have, because they help veterans with traumatic experiences, therapy, housing, and like jobs and employment, and also when they come out of prison, they help with them a program doing that. So there's plenty of conversations and meetings that I'm going to be doing that. And then also we are in schools in the Northwest, where we've been into a few schools already at the end of last year. But I'm hoping to get into a few more schools and do talks just about try and explain to them that things like this are possible. And then we're going to have a tracker I'm going to try and create a system where I have a tracker on me, where the schools that I go and speak to, they can follow. So it's like, if they're in the schools that I've been to speak to, they can kind of follow us along and kind of like join in the experience. But that's the main focus right now, is just getting in and just trying to communicate with the pupils and the veterans at the moment.
Yeah. And have you got your crew sorted, or does that still need
organising? I'm on with it. A very small crew at the moment. It's myself, my girlfriend Lauren, and then I've got a physio who's a very good friend of mine, and I've got my director / media videographer guy at the minute. So when I announce the video, there's a few people that I've got in mind that I'm going to reach out to see if they want to come and join me. But again, I might there might be people that I meet from now till October that also want to get involved. I think once I put it out there, I think I might get a few messages. Well, I'm hoping that I might get a few messages of people that they want to come and get involved. They want to do this, and I'm all for that, as long as I keep the crew small to 5 or 6 people, because we're going to be in a motorhome essentially. So we have to get on, and we have to be used to being in small spaces. And that's the key, really, just to make sure it flows properly and we're all kind of on the same page. So I'm just picking my team wisely. And the people that I know that I can spend a month with as well. Because I quite like to have my own time and my own space. So this will be quite an experience to spend that much time with the same people as well. So,
that'll be a challenge, won't it? And
that'll be a challenge.
How are you when you get tired and hungry? Because I don't know about you, but I'm horrible if I need food.
I mean, especially tired. I'm not the best. Can be a bit grumpy, but I mean, it's all part and parcel of it, isn't it? I mean, it's not going to be all smiley, happy faces every day. It's going to be some tough days, but as long as I've got the right people around me to support me, then I think it's more than possible to do.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge then of this?
I think the biggest challenge is mainly going to be getting up the next day and doing it. I think especially after maybe the first few days, you're going to feel the best you've felt, but then it's just essentially getting up and going again. I think that's going to be the hard part. with anything. It's just like once you've been to bed and you're comfy and you're cozy and you got to get up and do it again. I think that's what we'll find hard is like getting motivated to go. I'll be motivated, but getting the legs going, I guess, essentially. Yeah. So it's all about the recovery will be such a big part of it, and making sure that my physio and all the recovery tools are there for me to make sure that my legs keep moving. And I know at some point, because with my runs before, you always get that mental block, and it's just getting past that block. And I think once you get over the bridge or over the mountain, as you say, then I think you've just got to get past that bit just to keep everything moving forward.
Yeah. Mindset must be a huge part of taking on a challenge like that. What kind of work have you done on yourself to help, or will you be doing in training? Because obviously it's a while off yet.
Yeah, well, I spend a lot of my time training on my own, and I don't listen to any music. I kind of get in that headspace, and I know that I'm capable of, my mindset is strong, and I'm still going to build on it even more, my resilience, and doing the longer runs on my own, and building up to essentially what is 1,000 miles at once. But I am going to be taking time out, and I will be listening to the mind and just having the conversations with myself, because what I don't want to do is rely on other people to try and get me through it. I want to be able to make sure that my mind is ready for going into this challenge, which I'm already mentally prepared because I've been doing it for 18 months. So I feel like it's a natural progression. And now it's just going to be a case of doing the long runs, doing the long training and sticking to it. And I think the basics are there. I just need to up it the next level over the next 6 months of training.
Yeah, and you've obviously had experience of doing long endurance events before. What's been the hardest part of those that you can kind of learn from and take into this experience?
It's just the case of for me, it's just keep going. It's like one foot in front of the other, or one pedal stroke in front of the other, or one front crawl in front of the other. And the body will always be able to do more than what you think. And I've learned that along the way. Don't get me wrong, there's been times where it's got the better of me and I've not managed to complete what I wanted to complete, but it's essentially then taking away from that what went wrong and then fixing it for the next time, and not getting yourself down about it, and being able to move forward and giving it another go. Because essentially I failed at a few things because I try and do more things. So I failed, but it's just about getting up and doing it again and not letting it win. That's the kind of what the avenue that I go down.
Yeah, I get that. I think as ultra runners, we can be quite good at just putting ourselves there, can't we? And saying, right, if I don't get to the end, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I think we've got to be a bit comfortable with failing at things. What have you what's gone wrong then that you have learned from for future?
I think there's been a few times where I might have been a bit arrogant towards maybe the run or the feat that's in front of me, and not preparing properly with even my nutrition or my training, thinking to the back of my mind, I can do this. I don't really need to do X, Y, and Z. But that's not the case. Do you know what I mean? And we all learn, we all make mistakes, and we all learn from them as we go, don't we? So in terms of I know that my nutrition's got to be on point, because there's been times where I've not had nutrition and I've just not managed to finish what I wanted to finish. So that's a main part for me. And then of course my also the little bits of training, it's all like the stretching, the yoga, the meditating. It's that kind of side of things which I've added in the last 12 months, which have really helped me excel in terms of my fitness, because they're just the little bits on the bottom which I've always missed out and I've never not done. But now, because I meditate and I journal, and they're two big parts that play a part in the calmness of being able to run. And then obviously my stretching and my yoga, which I try and add in, and I'm stretching more than ever. They're just the essentials, basics, which I've added in and over the past 12 months, which have just kind of helped me gain a bit more confidence in what my abilities are in terms of the training, the recovery and everything. I've just taken it a lot more serious now.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned journaling, actually. That's not something I'd consider as part of training per se. Talk to us a little bit more about that and how that helps.
Yeah, well, my partner, she is... she's very into journaling and writing and getting your feelings out. So I tried to do it a few years ago, failed, but then I've always gone back to it. And now I don't do it every day, but I just do it more than I've ever done before. It might not be much. It might just be a couple of lines or or sometimes it's a page. It's just essentially like either how I'm feeling or what I'm planning on doing or what the outcomes are going to be. It's kind of like, it's just a bit of a brain dump for me. So in terms of when it goes to the project, I'm like, say if I've been thinking about things about the project for a couple of days, I'll just write it down. I'll be like, well, if this goes wrong, that's all right. If this goes right, could go wrong. And it's like, it just kind of helps me just put it on paper, and I can read back and be like, either that was a silly thought or that was a great thought. And I think if I just keep it all in, then it kind of doesn't flow, and I kind of just get it all just kind of fills up in my head, and I can't get everything out on paper. It's like, and then the conversation, and I might miss out on something. I feel like if I don't write it down or get my thoughts onto paper, then I can't fully be invested into the project, which makes sense. Because I do a lot of
I guess it'd be easy to get overwhelmed, wouldn't it, by everything that there is to do.
And it's just, with the journaling, it just brings a bit more calmness, and I can just concentrate more on the running side of things and the training side of things, because when I go to run, a lot of things do come to my mind when I'm running in terms of ideas or problems or good things. So I tend to write them down in bullet point form when I get back, or if I'm on a run and it's important, if I've got a great idea or something comes to mind, I write it on my phone. And that's just really helped with the progress of my running and my mindset, really, going forward into this project. It's kind of all just like filtered into at the right time, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, not forcing it now. It's not become a habit. It's just become something that I just do, and it's just comes natural now. Because like I said, 2 years ago, it wasn't natural. It was like, I've got a journal, and then I started writing. I was like, what am I writing? I don't know what I'm writing. But now it's like so much more free. And I think that's changed like the way I think about running and fitness and sports and challenges going forward.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It sounds like a really useful tool, because I guess there's no right or wrong way of doing it, is there? You've just got to find what works for you.
Yeah, you've got to find your way, I think. I think before, I think I had a book that said, write your top 3 things from today, and then write top 3 feelings or something like that. And I think with that, I felt really overwhelmed. I was like, I feel like someone's forcing me to journal. So I kind of didn't do it. But now it's because it's like something that I've used as a tool over the last 12 months, and I've only seen the benefits of doing it my way. And I've found my way, and I think it's just really helped massively. So I would always suggest that to people. And I always do. I suggest it to my friends that are kind of a bit like up in the air, don't know what they're doing, don't know where they're going for runs, but they're just running for the sake of running, or just biking for the sake of biking, for example. So I've just always told them, just write something down, write a few words. Like, you don't have to get embarrassed or worry about what you're writing. Like, no one's going to see it unless you show them. It's just for you. Like, it will help you massively, just once a week, twice a week, then it'll gradually be 5 times a week, and then you'll see the benefits, not instantly, but I think over like a 6-month period, you can look back and be like, I can't believe how much I've written down, and now it's just so natural. So I've always suggested that. And then like meditating as well. I do that most nights. My friend, who is the physio on the challenge, he has an app which is EA5, which has got loads of like tools for tools for recovery, tools for sleep, and it's all about breath work and calming the mind and sleeping, whether you're going out for a run or trying to go to bed at night. It's very much like, it's so calming, and I think that's another great tool it's really helped me in the past couple of months as well.
Yeah, I've been trying a meditation app. I must admit, I'm kind of on and off with it at the moment, because I can't, but I'm sure it'll click one day. But I think that's another thing you have to just keep trying, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another thing. Again, that's the same thing for me. I've always been kind of into breath work. Like in the sauna, I'll do some breath work, but I used to find it hard doing it at home. But now it's either I do it first thing in the morning, just through the app. It's like 5. You can either do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, whatever you feel is comfortable with. And I do it in the morning and I do it at night, which makes a massive difference. It starts your day better, and then it calms you at night. And it's just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I think again that them 2 tools just really just take it to the next level in terms of being able to do something like this.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So in terms of kind of physical training then, what are you putting in place to help you get, to do that 1,000 miles comfortably?
Yeah. Well,
have you got yourself a coach, for example, or are you kind of
I'm going to do most of it on my own. I'm going to get a coach for the centre block just to make sure everything's right and take a little bit of pressure off me going in towards the latter end of the training. But up to this point, I've always been self-sufficient in training. I've never had a coach, never in any training block. I've never had a coach. But in this time, I'm going to take someone on. But since I've been training properly really since November up until now, I've been doing a lot of biking and running predominantly. I'm not doing as much running because I want to do a bit more biking just because I want to take look after the legs for now whilst I can.
Yeah.
And then going forward, I'm finishing this big block of work in a couple of weeks, probably 3 weeks. And then I'm going to have the opportunity to go. I'm going to Spain for a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a lot of training out there, up and down the coast, doing some recce's.
Yeah, you'll be doing some recce's. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do some recce's, and my training's just going to go up then because I'm going to have time off. I've got quite a lot of time off work, and I'm just going to be to and fro from Spain as much as possible just to get a feel for the ground and do some training up and down the coast. So I'm quite lucky to be in that position to do that. But I feel like it's like necessary to do that because I don't want to get there and be like, I don't really know what I'm doing, don't know where I'm going, I don't know the ground. So the training wise, it'll be getting amplified in the next 3 weeks, which is a great opportunity.
Yeah. So are there any specific bits of the route that you're really keen to recce beforehand?
I went to the start line briefly in October. That was just a quick visit. So I want to go and do, I think I want to go and do the first maybe 100 kilometers of the start line, just to, when I get there, at least I know I've got a couple of days that I'm quite sure on. But I'm quite happy with the route up until then. But the main bit is going to be from maybe Alicante down to Almeria. That's going to be quite a hard bit because it's quite mountainous. So I want to get there and just get a better understanding of the ground. Because if I've got a lot of climbing on some days, I'm going to have to make up for that on the flat days. So I won't necessarily be able to run 80 kilometers up and down a mountain when I'm 600 miles into a run. So I want to just have that kind of, I'm going to take my notepad and I'm just going to write as many notes as possible just so I can look back on it when I'm doing the run. Just so that it goes as smooth as possible.
Yeah. So are you somebody who likes to kind of know exactly what it's going to bring, or are you kind of more excited about the unknown?
Both. I'm quite methodical in like my planning, and I like to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, and like I kind of over plan. Sometimes that's always been a bit of a problem. I'll over plan and then not factor in anything that could go wrong. But normally I'm in quite the challenge that I've done, I've been in control because I've known the route. I've kind of picked a safe route. I know what I'm doing, and it's kind of like either in a circle or it's out and back kind of thing. So the variables in this are going to be totally different. So I'm very much more aware and open-minded about the fact that it could change. So I'm trying not to get in my own head about that, in terms of like, it's not going to go as planned. Nothing within them 30 days or 28 days, it's not going to go as the way I planned it. So as long as I can accept that, I think it will be okay.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting, isn't it? Because if you are the first person to do this, like you can't find records of anyone having done it before, then you really are kind of, going into the unknown, aren't you? Really, it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's more exciting for me. It's because no one's ever done it before. I think it makes it such a valuable thing to say you're the first person that's run this, and then you've planned it all yourself. You've watched it from start to finish, and I think it would be so rewarding to be stood there in Gibraltar and be like, I've just done all this myself and had a small team, and I think it'd just be great.
Yeah, I've got goosebumps thinking about it, actually. I'm excited for you. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, thank you. We wish you all the best, actually, and we hope that you'll come back on either nearer the time or afterwards and let us know.
Definitely will do.
How it goes, yeah. Where can people follow you then and support you? And is there anything else that we can help with? Let us know now.
So I've not set up a fundraising page. Obviously, everything will be getting set up after the 28th. Yeah. I have my business page on Instagram, which is Make Bold Choices. You can follow that. I'll be updating everyone on that. And I've got my personal Instagram at the moment. And I've got a website, which I'm going to update. And I'm going to put a subscribing list on there. So anyone that wants to join me on any UK runs or UK talks, about the project or any like Q&As that we can do, I'm going to put my subscription link on there so people can just sign up for that. And then I'll have a list of where I'm going to be, because I'm in the UK between now and October. I'm going to be planning some longer runs for people to come and join in. And this would be great for people from all over the country just to kind of come and join in and do things. So that's going to be predominantly on my website for people to come and just subscribe and join.
Yeah, oh, well, fantastic. Well, when you've got all them set up, let us know, and they'll all be in the show notes for when this episode goes out, because we're recording this episode a little bit in advance.
Yes, we are.
Yes. All right. Oh, well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
No, thank you very much.
Wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
We hope that everybody listening has enjoyed this episode, and if it's perhaps sparked something in you, perhaps it's time for you to design your own Camino as well. Thank you for listening to the UKRunChat podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.